Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. I'm sure all of you guys are wondering what is going on with the crypto market today. I've been waiting for the crypto market to settle down a bit before posting on my Patreon for those Patreon subscribers who do want an update. I'm going to get one out today. Going to be working on that after today's regular scheduled program. Rob Art, guys, posting this. This is a good reminder to everybody that this time is not different, that coins, no matter how great the use case, the team behind them crash 50% in minutes. When the bear market comes, everything will crash hard without exception, all coins. Guys, this is a very, very good indication that we are still in a speculative market. Look at how far XRP crashed. So we're going to get back to Bitcoin in a second. Let's take a look at some of these coins. Wow. Huge liquidation event yesterday. Look at that wick. Insanity. Look at the volume on that. The volume was up to 12.1 million. You compare that to XRP volume for similar days in the same week, and they're down in like 3-4 million and then 12 million. So a huge liquidation event here. And essentially what we did see here, as you guys can see, liquidation event brought XRP down. Wow, 43, almost 44% in just a few hours. And now it's only down about 11.89%. So I guess we got to look at the silver lining in that case. But to Robert's point here, guys, it's still looking like we are in a spec market. This is very important to understand, okay, from Psychedelic here on Twitter. This kind of liquidation event has literally wiped out people 100% to zero. And as brutal as that is, this is what the market does before running so gosh darn hard. They liquidate us, send us back to work, then run it up like no tomorrow after sidelining everybody. So, guys, a bit of manipulation perhaps in here. We saw this thing on all the crypto exchanges all at the same time, and all the leverage that was in the market just got wiped out. As Psychedelic here says, they liquidate us, send us all back to work. Okay, so that liquidation cascade was 400% larger than anything we've seen before. Now, there is literally nothing left to liquidate, so the price will mess around a little bit. But then, guys, we are looking to get to new all-time highs next. So that is the projection here. Let's bring up Bitcoin. And so for those of you guys who are wondering, is this the beginning of the bear market? If I were to give my opinion at the moment, after seeing this, after doing a bit of digging, I would say that no, it is not. I think we still do have some time in the market left. But for more information, a more detailed analysis, come follow the Patreon, guys. It is only $5 a month. That is cheaper than what some people pay for coffee every single day. $5 a month only. But you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock in. Again, this is where I give my detailed analysis, my price targets. And by the way, I give my price targets right before I'm selling. So check it out if that is something you're interested in. Patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Again, it is only $5 a month, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that price. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin now. Bitcoin did collapse also. You guys can see Bitcoin did see a loss. Where do we see Bitcoin go down? Bitcoin was only down about 9.8% just yesterday. Now it has climbed back up a little bit. So Bitcoin is down about 7.5%. And guys, when we compare this to former corrections, okay, when we've seen these tops in October, because October, don't forget, is historically very bullish. Let's look at Bitcoin here. From the most recent top that we saw in and around $128,000, Bitcoin's only down by 13.12%. Now, I want to put that into perspective, okay? The final year in the last bull cycle, the final month in the last bull cycle, October 2021, okay, we did see this high here, and we did see Bitcoin crash about 15-16% before it did finally make a new high, okay, in November. So, guys, not that far-fetched, 13% only. I mean, some people were predicting that it could go down to, I guess, even as low as 107. That would bring us closer to 15%. Those obviously were former resistance levels that we did see back in around here of January and December of 2024. So bouncing now off that resistance. We did not actually get that low, thankfully. Regardless, though, it's not the end of the world. We are seeing that fear and greed, though, is feeling like it's the end of the world. 35 now in fear, a far cry from where we were just a couple of days ago. Market cap down 9.32%, so way below $4 trillion right now. And if we just look at these numbers, guys, double digits for a lot of these altcoins, down significantly. So the question is, which altcoins are going to survive? XRP is down 11.88%. We've got BNB coin down 11.13%. Solana's down 16.8%. So a lot of these cryptocurrencies down quite a bit. Dogecoin's down 22.59%. So some are in the 20s, some are in the high teens. Guys, this is all part of crypto. Of course, the average crypto RSI, though, says oversold. So a lot of these cryptocurrencies have just witnessed something that we only see a few times in every cycle, and one major time in pretty much every cycle. Privacy has returned, says Crypto Eddie here, in a sea of red. Zcash and Pax G, so that's Pax Gold, are now the only two of the 200 assets by market cap in green. Do you remember on October 3rd, Ripple did post, without privacy, financial institutions cannot safely use public ledgers? Well, that's an interesting observation here from Crypto Eddie. Zcash is in green and Pax Gold, which is backed by physical gold here. I've got the coin market cap heat map for crypto, and as you guys can see, some of these cryptocurrencies are slowly sliding back up. Like Leo coin is up by 0.58%. Zcash is on here as well. Don't know why that's not coming out. Okay, that's up by 16.7%. So some of these coins, Pax Gold is now up still. Tether Gold is up. Plasmax is down. Ripple USD, okay, so stable coins. I mean, some of these are stable coins, so they don't really count. We are still seeing most cryptocurrencies, obviously, in the red. The sad part is not the massive crash. The sad part is that thousands of people who grind 24/7 got completely wiped out, even with 2x leverage, and will never be the same again. This coming from Ash Crypto. So discussing a little bit more of the social aspect to this. This feels like engineered manipulation to make sure no longs are left on altcoins. If you got hit today, please know that if you made it once, you can do it again. Take this loss as a lesson and come back stronger. Very good advice there from Ash Crypto. Raul Pal also saying, all this is noise if you don't use leverage. So the big problem here, guys, are people that did use leverage. There are only two questions you need to ask as a long-term hodler. Will tomorrow be more digital than today? Has the liquidity cycle and business cycle topped, or is it still rising to finance the $10 trillion that needs to roll in the next 12 months? If both answers are yes, then it's all noise. If your time horizon is 5 years plus, then the second part is just noise too. Don't mess this up. Remember, guys, Raul Pal has been saying this for months now. Over a year, I think. A Crypto Insight UK also commenting, I'm in bed now going to sleep, and so I can't post. But that is all for our downside liquidity taken for XRP on the daily, I'm sure. So, XRP, I think we did see a nice rebound for XRP. I'm going to bring up the XRP chart here. And for those of you guys thinking, is this the end? Is this the end? Let's... I think ultimately, wow, look at that wick. Wick is insane for the XRP chart. I wasn't thinking that XRP was going to get down to these lows, but we were not assuming that we would see this type of liquidity event. I think XRP is actually rebounding quite nicely. When we take a look at this, we are seeing a healthy rebound here. Okay, slowly climbing out of this. As Crypto Insight UK says, technically people could have longed the bottom. However, with the amount of exchange outage, it seems unlikely. I'll update liquidity when I can. So guys, that's the other thing. I haven't seen anybody posting. Most people have just been posting about the market crashing. Usually when crypto exchanges go out, I do see those posts on Twitter as well, but I haven't actually seen that many. I think Uphold was out, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys have noticed that any other crypto exchange did go out during this liquidation event, please do put it down in the comment section. I'd like to know. Well, essentially, if you guys were able to hold on, good for you. I hope you did not panic sell. Credible Crypto also commenting. So a few things that I'm going to try and get back to my night and deal with this once I'm back in town. So today was probably the biggest loss I've taken in 7 years. So for him, the biggest loss. That being said, it's all on me, and there's no point moping around or complaining about it. We got to grind harder, guys, and keep at it. While many alts got completely obliterated, a few haven't broken structure and actually look decent overall. Not surprisingly, some of the major alts, Ethereum and XRP. So as I was saying, this structure here still holding up significantly. I don't dare to look at some of the other alts that are low cap alts that probably got wiped out significantly. Bitcoin went below 108,000, which invalidated the last local impulse we had to the upside, but the larger impulse and structure from 74,000 lows remain intact. All this to say, okay, if you took some major losses today, I feel your pain. I've never been hit harder myself, he says, okay, but in this space, there's plenty of opportunity, and as long as you don't give up, there is a chance to make it all back and more. You just have to work your butt off. I've done it before and I'll do it again, he says. Okay, and second, HTF structure on Bitcoin and most majors like Ethereum and XRP still look fine. This was but a major setback. Again, wiping out leverage traders. For these majors and macro ideas, I have mine and they have not changed. Alts that broke structure, on the other hand, might take a bit longer to recover. So that is another thing you might want to consider if you're not holding, if you're holding other alts, small cap altcoins. You might want to pay attention to that. Now, guys, it's not just crypto. The Kobesi letter came out with this. Heading into President Trump's 100% China tariff announcement, markets were looking for a catalyst to pull back. So, guys, let's just go back to the markets and let's just take a look at the S&P 500. And right now, the stock market is closed because I am recording this on Saturday. But guys, the S&P 500 took a dip, the NYSE Composite Index took a dip, and the Russell 2000 also took a dip too. So all this to say, it's not just crypto, this is a broader crash, okay? Leverage was through the roof, and we have not seen a 2% plus decline on the S&P, for example, for about 6 months. President Trump's post became the reason to sell off in what remains a broader uptrend. The fact that a record near $20 billion was liquidated in crypto in 24 hours is clear evidence leverage was through the roof. So again, guys, this is all leverage. Fear and greed are the most powerful emotions in the market. The scale has tipped too far in the direction of the latter. Still, ignore the noise and follow the trend. So the Kobesi letter also did post a tweet thread on this. This happened at 10:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. President Trump canceled his meeting with China and said massive tariff increases are coming. 40 minutes later, the S&P erased $1.2 trillion in market cap. So is this a buying opportunity? I guess this is the next question. What is the optimum time here to buy? Here's the statement from President Trump. He accused China of lying and imposing export controls on rare earth metals. Trump canceled his meeting in 2 weeks as well with the Chinese president, and he said massive tariffs are incoming. Then it talks a little bit about the rare earth materials and some details on that. I'm just skimming over this, but I will link it in the description if you guys are interested. The U.S. gets about 70% of its rare earth from China. When the first U.S.-China trade deal was signed on May the 12th, rare earths were a critical component. Now President Trump claims that China is attempting to impose export controls on these materials. But we believe the market is in a vastly different situation now than it was in April of 2025. Guys, you remember we did see a market crash. This is the Russell, but it doesn't really matter. Market crash in April of 2025. That was in and around here. Okay, so that was when we saw these highs from back in November. Market did crash. Boom. That was April. Whoops. That was April 2025. And then we did finally see that rebound, that V bottom out of there. So they say, we believe today's statement is a bargaining chip. As a result, we think this is a dip and will be bought, according to the Kobesi letter. And again, I will link the rest of this in the description if you guys are interested. Just some more detail on that. All to say, this is a black swan event. Markets were looking pretty toppy, but we got to consider also crypto's history and crypto's, I guess, culture. I guess maybe we could call it. Jacob King here saying cryptocurrency is still a rigged casino, and today's event proved it beyond a doubt. A single colossal Bitcoin whale shorted at the peak, and then just before the market shattering crashed, piled on millions more in shorts. At the very bottom of the drop, he closed 90% of his Bitcoin short and completely exited his Ethereum short, pocketing roughly $190 to $200 million in a single day. So people knew this was coming. Somebody knew this was coming and decided to put a big fat short on Bitcoin. That's the only instance we can trace, but speculation is rampant and the scale was far larger and extended across other exchanges as well. So just be mindful of this, guys. This is still occurring, and we do have to be mindful of this. I guess part of the takeaway is do not use leverage. Do not use money that you cannot afford to lose. Because you will get wiped out and you might get wrecked. Credible Crypto here saying this actually makes a lot of sense and is the most plausible reason for the market-wide bloodbath. Forced selling of all kinds of alts were being used as collateral. Okay, so talking about crypto, some of the altcoins were probably used as collateral is what he's explaining here, and leverage positions on centralized exchanges as those positions began to get liquidated. This set up exactly what would cause a simultaneous dump across the board, okay, because we did see it across all exchanges of all altcoins, because the liquidations would not be limited to just BTC and USDT. And with alts having relatively low liquidity, once some began being liquidated, it would basically cause a chain reaction for everyone else using that alt as collateral, and it would then spread across all altcoins available as collateral after one after the other, nearly simultaneously. This is also why, like Arthur Hayes said here, we don't see those wick lows on many alts again. Those were bottoms formed by massive forced selling events across a huge number of market participants on major centralized exchanges. There's no one left to willingly sell down to those levels. So another reason why we got to be very, very careful. And again, if you guys are curious in hearing what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this bull cycle, you guys can follow me. This is where I speak in more detail about my plan, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel, and everything is in flux. You know, when these things happen, you got to be flexible. You got to be able to pivot. Even if you do have a plan, you should have a plan A, plan B, plan C, etc. So wanted to thank Credible Crypto for that. Bobby A also commenting, you know, this is actually the perfect setup. Liquidate everyone. Instill a metric crap ton of fear in the market, because I'm sure everybody is feeling a bit on edge. I mean, fear is at 35 after all. Initiate a complete reset on the higher time frames, print scary lower shadows that will undoubtedly keep many sidelined as they wait to get them filled, and I'm sure some will, he says, and then allow the market to purge itself of all the leverage. Run it back once the monthly and weekly charts reset after thoroughly cleansing the market. So he's insisting here that we are still going to see a run-up, guys. Are you ready to buy the dip, or have you had enough? Rob Art posting this perfect example of why you don't buy anything in the last leg of the cycle. So I'm of this school of thought here. At this point, I'm ready to cash out. Rob Art is as well. He says no dip buying, no trading, only taking profits with whatever goes up and waiting for the massive crash to start accumulating. So very straightforward. Is this dip worth being bought? The Ethereum flash crash in the summer of 2017 is the closest event I can think of in comparison to what happened yesterday. Even during the beer flu crash, I can't remember so many major alts losing so much so swiftly. So guys, this was a huge event, even compared to 2020. Difference with this liquidation cascade was that it was in a more mature market and the damage was much more widespread. But similar to what happened in 2017 and even in 2020, I believe the market will recover and will run back higher. So that coming from Kaleo, he's going to be buying the dip. Rob Art deciding not to, and the blockchain backer, who, by the way, I think a lot of you guys owe an apology to, said this: I bought some dips, kind of chaotic. Usually these revisit the lows again in time, but we will review when the time comes. That likely was the worst of it. Now it should settle for a while. Well, let's see what happens, guys. We got to see what markets do. I don't think we're going to see too much this weekend, but we got to see what markets do on Monday. Will XRP recover? The setup is looking quite good at the moment. I don't even think Bitcoin is in a terrible spot at the moment. But for more detailed information on what I think, again, follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. And maybe you guys are interested in perhaps purchasing some merch. You can always swing by the Working Money Channel merch store. Link is in the description of the video. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.